Hello lovelies, we are jumping into another bullet journal with me for the month of May. As you can see, I've already written out my cover page of Hello May and watercolored some lavender at the bottom. So I'm going to get right into the calendar spread. I've already outlined everything in pencil and I am just going over with a Sakura micron, and this is in a 03 size. I think this is my most used size because it dyes, or it's in the process of dyeing, so I have to go over the lines a couple of times. But I'm just, like I said, outlining everything and getting everything set up. And now I'm just quickly drawing in the stems for the lavender that I'm going to paint on this page and erasing my pencil marks for the title because I find that the pencil doesn't erase underneath of the Faber-Castell brush pens. So I'm just writing May in semi-bold letters in purple, and I'm going to do the same with 2019. And just making sure it's a little bit bolded. They're not perfectly symmetrical or anything like that, so they're a little wobbly. I'm just darkening up the bottoms now with the same purple to kind of give a bit of a faded effect. And I did attempt to highlight with a pink marker, but it didn't really blend in very well, so I guess it was really for nothing. And then just filling in the numbers on all of the boxes, and about here is where I realized that I am short a few boxes. So I did go and pick one of the scrap pages in the very back of the journal where I've already done some lettering practice and tore a piece out, kind of cut it up and glued it on over top of where I wrote notes so that I could extend my calendar. And since I have so much room at the top of the calendar, I'm just going to place my notes up there instead. And of course, like I did last month, I am going to kind of color code days based on things I like to keep track of. So payday, work days, and bills due are the ones that you'll see this month. And now that my pencil marks are erased, I am watercoloring in the lavender. The style that I'm using as far as like shaping the lavender, I did learn from Amanda Rach Lee. She had a how to draw lavender video from last year at May that I found so that I could kind of learn the shapes and her techniques, and I just used watercolor to apply it instead of markers. And as you can see, I have absolutely no idea what lavender leaves are supposed to look like, so I just kind of draw on or paint on some basic leaf shapes. And then I felt like the top of the page was a little bit empty, so I did add some lavender sprigs up in the top corners as well. And you'll see I attempted to paint in some stems, and I didn't like the way it looked because the paint was still too wet, so I went back over that with my purple watercolors again. Now I am just outlining the leaves. I was going to outline the leaves and the flowers when I did my cover page, but I found that I liked the flowers as they are and I preferred just having the leaves outlined. And then here's my color coding that I was talking about earlier, and me referencing April's spread to make sure that I am putting everything where it needs to go. this was where I realized that I marked 2 of my Fridays as work days, and I don't work on Fridays, so I'm just going to ignore those. Next up, I have my habit and sleep trackers. I switched it up a bit this month. I felt like I just needed something a little different. So I'm doing a faux calligraphy with a paint pen for healthy, and then I'm going to write habits just underneath in a bit more of that bold but long, skinny capital letters in my purple pen. And then for the actual trackers, I am using the little calendar shape idea where I will either fill in or check off the days as I get to them for the habits that I do. Maybe give me just a different way to see my habit tracking. And this is also where I realized that I didn't have enough squares. So this last one has the right number, and then I did have to go in and extend the last row on all of the others. I think it looks fine. I'm not going to let it bother me. And then just writing the habits at the top. And I felt like the bolded letters needed a little bit more, so I did write in cursive over top of habits again. And then for my sleep tracker, just a simple cursive in a lighter paint pen. And then I did switch this one up a bit as well. Instead of my usual bar graph, I wrote out the word May, and I blocked out the middle rows. And there's 5 rows on top, 5 rows on bottom, so I do have 30 days, and I will find somewhere for the 31st day to track that sleep. But I just wanted to try something a little different. So I'm just outlining that in my micron again. And it's not perfect by any means. I kind of eyeballed a lot of it, but the straight edge does help make it look a little bit more put together. Now that all of the outlining is done, I am just going to clean it up because it looks so much better without all of the pencil marks everywhere. And I was considering lining the faded out area or the blocked out area, but I actually decided against it because I think it looks very nice. And then in order to get myself to work with my watercolors more, I am doing my sleep tracker with watercolors. So I'm just filling in kind of like a gradient of purple to dark green to light green, and then writing in the number of hours. So it goes 5 or less, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 and more. And that'll just help me keep track of my hours. Then I decided to put something in the middle of May, and I went with my lavender theme. So just watercoloring the lavender in there to tie it into this spread, and I think it turned out actually really cute. And my last spread for this video is my grocery list. I kept it really simple and just did a calligraphy groceries at the very top, and then cleaned up the outlines on my habit tracker. And then just outlined my leaves again to keep everything consistent. But that is all I have for you. Oh yeah, making sure groceries is all cleaned up, but that's all I have for you. We'll do a final flip through. So we've got the cover saying Hello May with some beautiful watercolor lavender, the monthly calendar page, and finally habits, sleep tracker, and grocery list. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you next week. That's all I have. Love you guys. Bye.